So because your time is limited, you should learn to buy time. And how you buy time is by employing other hands, employing capable hands to fill into roles that you can take a step back from.
Welcome to Voices with Victoria, the place where you gain practical wisdom and inspiration to transform your life, one voice at a time. Let's dive deep into real stories of everyday heroes, sharing insights that spark personal growth, career advancement, and business success. Make sure you subscribe and be part of the movement. Everyone, welcome to another insightful and exciting episode of Voices with Victoria. And of course, I'm your host, Victoria Undu. It's such a great delight to be here today. And guess who I have in the studio with me today? Drum rolls! My friend from university. Doing amazing things. In fact, let me just properly read his bio, right?
Okay.
Somto Anekwe is a seasoned entrepreneur and marketing consultant. He is a driven visionary who has been contracted by leading businesses and renowned individuals for his groundbreaking ideas and solutions. He is the Chief Executive Officer at Thesol Online Stores, which is an e-commerce business fully operational in over 10 African nations, and it has outstanding delivery, career service providing services, and all of the things that they do in between, like we've never seen before. He has helped several businesses to create an exceptional online presence that enhances their brand and awareness, perception, and skyrockets their sale. He is also the founder at Livry Technologies, which is a pay-on-delivery checkout solution for small and medium businesses that sell physical products, and also uses the logistic company as well to fulfill their orders. And there's a whole lot to Somto Anekwe, and I'm so excited to be having this conversation with him. Somto, it's such an honor to have you here today. Welcome. Thank you for saying yes.
Yes, thank you for the invite. It's my
how do you feel?
To be here? I feel so good. I feel alive.
Yes.
I feel present.
Yes.
And I'm so glad to be here. Thank you for the invite. I really
Thank you. I like your
honored.
Iche cap. And Odogu cap.
I mean, it's just part of fashion.
Right. And it's also a position.
It is. It is, I agree.
All right. So today we're just going to be having a chilled conversation.
Yeah.
We want to hear from you, want to learn from your story and your experiences as well. I've done a formal introduction of who Somto is, but I want Somto to also introduce himself to us. Who is Somto Anekwe, really?
Okay. All right. So good to be here once more. And besides the formal introduction, Somto Anekwe is your guy. He's just a chill guy, and he's very driven, so driven, and so entrepreneurial. And
Can tell.
Yeah, and I like to see the best in people. From going down to my family, I'm from a family of 5 children, and my parents really great people, hardworking, very responsible people as well. Whether we're rich or poor, we're not rich. We're not anything close. We're not anything close to being rich as well. But because these days when people see me, they're like, you're soft. Yeah. And I'm like, if you know
where you're coming. So we're interested. So I'm interested in that story. So let's just fast track to that story.
Okay.
Where you're coming from and where you, and even if we know that you've not gotten to the fullness of all that God has in stock for you.
Yeah.
Where you are is soft. You even said it. You're looking soft, and beyond just the looks, we know it's your reality as well. What is the story like? How did you get here?
Okay. One pointer where I can trace all of this back to, all of this innovativeness to, would be my parents, would be my dad, because before my very eyes, he started various businesses, coming from where we were, where we first lived before we later moved to our house. Where we first lived was, just an apartment where it was the kind of apartment where when it rains so heavily, it will be flooded. We shared the bathroom, toilet with like
Face me, I face you.
It wasn't face me, I face you though.
But, okay.
It wasn't face me, I face you. but there was no gate outside as well. We were just there, and so you see that. But however, they provided the best for us. We were very satisfied. Yeah, they provided the best for us, and we were good. And my parents very disciplined, very spiritual. Hardworking, great people, great people. Yeah. So from there, I could remember my dad personally coaching me on my handwriting. Yeah, I have a very good handwriting. So blowing my trumpet.
Yeah, blown.
So my dad's handwriting is even more superb. So I could remember when I was in primary school and he used to help me for my handwriting, help me for my assignment. Yes, he was so intentional and all that. And the shop we had then, so we had a pharmacy store or a chemist, what we call in Nigeria a chemist store. So my dad is a chemist. So I went to study medicine like everybody.
Not everybody. I don't think there was any time I wanted to study medicine.
That's true. But like so many of us, there were so many of us who wanted to study medicine. So mine, medicine or pharmacy, because my dad had a pharmacy, a medicine shop, and I wanted to go through that line as well. We were all trained through that shop. So many relatives, my siblings, myself, we all passed through this. So even right now as I am, I can diagnose, I can give medications to people, I can tell what's wrong with them and administer drugs to them. I can do all that. All my siblings can do all that. Right? So we're trained to the business like that, and before my very eyes, my dad has started up so many other things. There was a time I could remember he bought a tricycle, what we call keke or marwa in Nigeria. So there was a time he gathered money and bought that.
Businessman.
And yes, you gave to someone to be riding for him, and it didn't go well. Many of such stories didn't used to go well.
Yeah.
So it didn't go well. Then there was a time we started up a poultry.
Your dad has done different things.
Yeah, so there was a time we started, while having his main business, that was the pharmacy stores. So I started with poultry. Then there was a time he opened up a second branch where my mom was now managing the drug stores. So going through all of that, seeing him do all of that, that was all I subconsciously imbibed over time. And I see myself, trying to do those things right now. Animal and environmental biology.
And now you own businesses, right?
Yes.
So what was the transition like for you? When did you start your first business, and what triggered that?
All right. The transition, I would say, started in the university. Because before then, there was really nothing spectacular about me. I was just there in primary school. In primary school, I was just there, a normal student, but maybe taking between second, third, fourth positions, right? Then in secondary school, something around that too. Maybe when I was in primary school, I used to read once, read twice, go outside and play with my neighbors' children, play every kind of play that we do. Then in secondary school too, I was just there. I really never read, but my results were just okay like that. Then there was a time I started reading. That was when everything started changing. And that was when I wanted to write JAMB, when I wanted to write WAEC. So there was an extracurricular class that I started. And over there, we were so motivated to read. So from then, I started going to the library a lot. In Delta State Library in Asaba, I was going there a lot. I was known there. And then from time to time, I started to know this now. I was now like, this book is not too hard though. I was like, so I am really, I think I'm very, very intelligent. Wow, so this is how it works. Because there in the library,
when you consistently do things, the things that you think were initially hard begins to look easy to you.
So easy, So I can remember people bringing physics questions to me to solve, chemistry questions for me to solve. And in junior secondary school or earlier in secondary school, I couldn't relate at all. And later on, I'll be like, this topic is not even so hard. Right? So because I now started to spend a lot of time reading, then later on, that reading now transitioned into reading self-help books. I could remember one of the first ones I read was How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. And then later on, Rich Dad, Poor Dad, later on, Understanding Your Potential, Miles Monroe, those books. So I transitioned from, reading those academic books. To self-help books. And life began to make sense. So I began to understand more things. And then when I got into school, when I got into school, I was such a voracious reader because I wasn't given my pharmacy, and I
You wanted to prove a point?
not necessarily, but I really wanted pharmacy. So when I was in 100 level, in fact, that animal environmental biology that I studied, from the course fellowship where I met you,
Yeah.
I probably wasn't supposed to be there. I was almost not going to be there. So when they gave me that course, I said I was not going to go to school. I was not going to go there. I was going to stay back and write another jam, and do all that. But later on, I just decided, okay, let me go. In my class, I think my cutoff mark was like the highest. So my aggregate score was like the highest. So started reading, writing another jam, wrote another in 100 level, in 200 level. It was in 300 level that I started accepting that I was in animal and environmental biology.
So wait, you mean that from 100 level, you remain in 100 level paying school fees, but still writing jam?
Yes, and I moved to 200 level.
Pharmacy.
Yes.
And when you moved to 200, you continued writing jam to 300 level.
Yes, in 300 I didn't write again. I almost registered, but I was like, let me just finish
Accept
this one.
your fate like that.
Let me finish this one first. Yeah.
Amazing.
So from studying all those books, I started to believe in myself. I started to see life from a way different perspective, because if I highlight the secondary schools I attended, I mean, I'm I'm nowhere close to how people see me now. Because then, in our neighborhood, just children who, some of them, their parents don't even take care of them. In my senior secondary school was just a normal school where so many social vices were so prevalent. So all of that, right? Then when I started studying for JAMB, so all of that now changed the whole thing for me from there on. And in school, the first business I can remember that I started and really handled as a business was when I was about to graduate in 400 level. Before then, I'd also started doing other things. But
you won't call it a business at that time.
Yeah, yes. So in school, in the hostel, yeah, my parents send me money for upkeep and all that. But I still like to be adventurous. Yeah, I like to be very adventurous. I like to try out new things. I just like to test out stuff and just see how it works. Yeah, so there was a time in hostel where I was selling bread in hostel. In hotel hostel then. So the bread that was being sold in school was not so good. So people preferred another bread. So we would go.
So this tag can even be from the bread seller. No, from bread seller to business mogul.
Well,
word.
I never thought of that.
Yeah.
So then we were selling bread in the hostel. There were so many people who were selling that bread as well. We were selling that bread. Then later on, I found myself. I started liking designing, graphic designing. So I did that as well. Then in my final year, when I was about to enter final year, the class above mine. So when I was in 300, the guys who were in 400, they had a printer in their class.
Okay.
And that printer was owned by somebody in that class. And that person was making all the money. So I saw that opportunity. And I was like, wait, somebody has this printer, and this person prints most of the classes' jobs, their seminar presentations, projects, materials, courses. And so he prints all of that. I was like, whoa, this is an opportunity. So I asked him, how did you get your printer? Is there anything special you need to do, So he was like, just get a printer and then say you're the one printing. So when we entered 400 level, I said I was going to become the printer guy, in my set. So I got a printer. I could remember then there was a neighbor of ours that used to sell at Onitsha. They sell at Onitsha, go to main market. So I told him that I need a printer, that he should take me to main market. And then,
So from Benin, you went to Onitsha main market to buy printer.
It was, okay, this was how it went. It was from Delta, from Asaba where we stayed, to Onitsha to get the printer. Then from Onitsha to Benin. It was that day I was leaving for school. My parents didn't even know I was going to get a printer or do all of that. I just saved up money. I think it was maybe like 25,000 naira. That was the cost of the printer. So I and my neighbor went to main market, went to different stores. Then we found a printer, one that could print, photocopy, scan. Then we got it. Then when I got it from there, I took a bus from Onitsha there to Benin. I could remember carrying that printer on when they stopped me at New Benin, because if you're coming from the east, you stop at New Benin. I could remember carrying that printer from New Benin to go to where Uniben Shuttle used to stay, and then from there to the hostel. Yeah. So that printer, I used it in final year, printed a lot of stuff for people. It was from there that I started. That's the first one I would call an actual business, aside the others on the side. And from there, I started seeing opportunity in things. I just see opportunity, and I'm like, let's try this out. Let's try this.
Amazing.
And keep trying. We keep making progress just like that.
It's really interesting how you transitioned. I mean, you've always had an eye for business, like, selling bread, noticing that people in the hostel needed bread. So you noticed a need.
Yeah.
And regardless of, in quote, the steez
yes,
and all of that, you were about the profit and about solving that need.
Yeah.
And then you moved to being the printer guy in your department.
Yeah.
And look at where you are right now.
True.
Owning several businesses that are bringing in, lots of money.
True.
So let's talk about, challenges and failures.
Yeah.
With your current businesses now.
Yes.
Can you share a specific instance where you sort of like faced a significant setback in your business, and how did you pick yourself up, especially in these times where we're complaining about economic downturn, not just in Nigeria, I mean, it's a global thing.
Yeah.
So how did you turn all of these things to an opportunity for growth? And also what mindset shifts or practical steps helped you to sort of like recover from these setbacks in quotes and failures?
All right. Very, very, really great question. There's been so many stories, along the years of challenges. There's been so many challenges. I have various stories.
So just tell us one.
Yes, one of them. There was a time when I was traveling from Benin, from Benin to Delta State, and we were robbed in a bus. We were robbed in a bus overnight. There is that one, but the one I want to share now would be the one that happened in 2022.
Okay.
When we wanted to expand into more countries. So because then we set a goal that year we're going to expand into much more African countries, because before then we were already operational in Ghana. So from Nigeria it was Ghana. Then after Ghana it was now Rwanda, South Africa, Uganda, Tanzania. So those are the ones we wanted to now move into next. Yeah.
Okay.
So when we're already selling in Kenya. We're selling in Kenya, and then we wanted to test out Tanzania. So so something crazy happened. So I'm like that. I just like to test out. I like to be adventurous. I like to what's the worst that could happen? So I've mastered failure in that sense, that I really am not afraid of it. I really don't care.
Even when you lose things, even when the failure takes you to the ground, what is the mindset behind that? Because if you lose money, actually when it runs into million, you could just easily give up.
Yeah.
But how do you turn this to opportunity for growth?
Sure. Okay. I just keep at it. I just know that somewhere in me, this is not the worst that can happen. Okay, let me highlight that Tanzania story a bit, because it's quite interesting. Okay. And let me even take off my glasses for that one, because that Tanzania story, what happened was, we wanted to test out Tanzania. So the product that I wanted to sell there was supposed to be sold for an equivalent of like 30,000 naira for each of them. So, and Tanzania's currency is Tanzanian shillings. So we wanted to test out the product and see how the market responds to it. So when we got their currency, their rates, and converted it to naira, then the price that we set on the website then was like maybe 30,005 Tanzanian shillings, thereabout.
Okay.
And what we're supposed to put on that site was supposed to be an equivalent of 30,000 naira. So we tested the adverts, and orders were coming in. It was doing so well. Got like over 100 orders in a day. So we now needed to provide the product at that location. So we purchased the product in Kenya because we didn't find the supply in Tanzania. Purchased like up to 100 units of it, and then sent it to Tanzania. And we're testing all the ads and doing all of that. All the logistics and everything for this whole thing, costed a lot. We had purchased up to 100 units of product, sent them to Tanzania. And on the way getting to Tanzania, one of my staff called me and I was like, check out the website, check the price on the website. So I checked the price on the website. It was like 3,500 Tanzanian shillings. Then I converted it with Google and I called our Tanzanian partners and I was like, look at this amount, is this correct? So they were like, no, it's not correct. So guess what? That amount that we put on the site for Tanzania, its equivalent in Naira was like 800 Naira. Something that was supposed to be sold for, it was supposed to be sold for like 30,000 Naira.
So you were running at a loss of over almost 30,000 Naira loss.
We were just dashing them. It was just crazy. So the equivalent of that amount, so because of the error in the exchange rate, the calculation and all of that, the equivalent of that amount, so what we put up on that website was just like we said, the product was 800 Naira, something that was supposed to be 30,000. So that's why those orders were pumping in like that. And we had purchased products, we had front all the ads and all that. And I was like, what do we do from here? Where do we go from here? And then we tried to contact those customers again. We tried to get them to buy an order, but it didn't work. We increased the price to the proper amount. And the proper amount should have been something around 150,000 Tanzanian shillings. So you see the difference from like 3K.
3,000. Oh my God.
The difference was so large. So, I mean, imagine you placing an order for something where you saw 800 and then the person calls you and is telling you, exactly 30K is a mistake. You'll be like, are you okay?
Take your
Are you okay? So those are the kind of responses that we're getting.
How did you come out from that?
It was tough. It was tough. That loss was millions. And in fact, in 2022, this one happened around February in 2022. Then in June, another one happened for Ghana. That year was crazy. But how I came out was I believed in the business I was doing, and I spoke to a couple of people, and they were like, you can still pick this up and get it going. Just stay resilient. And what that made out of me, that entire challenge, what it made out of me, at the end of that year, I felt like there is nothing that can stop me. I felt like an indomitable soldier. I felt like there is nothing ever. If this didn't kill me, if this didn't bring me down, then nothing ever can. So that was how I felt after staying. So that whole time I was just present. I just stayed. I just stayed through it because I knew it was not the end. Because I knew somewhere, somehow, I would still come out of it. Yeah, so spoke to people. I was always speaking to people. That was one thing I remember. And I was always taking down the notes. I was on my phone. The notes are still there. I read it from time to time. The lessons I learned from that particular thing. Yeah, so I learned lessons like knowing that money is so hard to make, because then so many things happened. I mean, when I would reach out to some people that I used to even gift something before, not being entitled, but I know that, you could probably help out here, but they're like, no, they can't help out. So there were so many lessons, so many lessons there that I learned, and I was like, next time when I get this thing, I'll be so prudent with it and hold it so dear.
Are you so what it means that you don't give again?
No, I give a lot.
Now, so you're still giving.
I give it, because that's how it works.
Really?
That's how it works. Yeah,
really?
and you would such times would always come. Right?
Yeah.
But you standing strong, because then too, something else I did, so many things I did then too, I went through YouTube and I was searching for various billionaires, various millionaires around the world who have lost a lot and come back from it.
Oh, great.
Yeah. So Femi Otedola was one of them. So many people have gone through such kind of very serious times in their lives, and they came out of it. So I was like, if these guys would come out of it, these guys were in debt of billions. So if they could come out of it, what's this one? What's this? Right? That I can't come out of. Yeah. So that was how.
This is very instructive because you shared from your own personal experience, and I know that there's somebody here listening that probably has lost millions, or even if it's hundreds or whatever stage that you're in, billions. Just know that there are people who have been there,
Yeah.
There are also people who are currently there still. And this is just sort of like a word of encouragement that you would definitely get out of it.
Yeah, definitely.
That situation is not there to consume you. And
You
probably it's even there for you, not against you, so that you
will.
can possibly pick out lessons
Yeah.
for your bigger business. Because I know that Somto, you've moved on to something bigger.
Yeah.
You've made more
Yeah.
times. I'm intentionally not dropping figures here, but you've made way more than you lost in 2022.
Ooh, very well.
Oh, and we can take that very well lightly. But I know, right, you have done mega things when it comes to your business, and you're not even that. So again, let's talk about the online space.
Yeah, okay. Before that,
please,
something also very instructive that happened then, and true, for real. If you're in any of such situations, you're definitely going to come out of it and come out of it better than you were. Truly, you know, these cliche quotes are actually true. Tough times really make you stronger. So there was a billionaire friend of mine that I contacted then. I spoke to him, and he was like, I told him that I'm thinking of going into another business, maybe doing something else. You know, then in his words, because he replied me in pidgin English, in his words, he said, if you try that thing where you won't do, you know, if you come out, you might not live to tell the story of it. So as long as the business you're doing is still viable, that lost, you know, that money, still keep doing it. You're going to, after all of those things happened, it now seemed as though I broke into a new level in the business. It seemed as though some unseen forces and
came
some
together to work for your good.
It was just as though I'm now in a new level. Things has so changed. All of the things I learned, and all of the lessons you're going to learn in trying times, you must take them to heart. You know, be very intentional with them. Write them down like I did. Look at them from time to time. They should be very instructive to your heart. Because they matter so much. So much. Yes.
Amazing. Let's talk about your e-commerce business, because I know that it's a theme now.
Okay.
And you currently operate in over 10 African nations, and you're looking to even diversify beyond that.
Yeah, okay.
What are the key challenges that you faced in scaling? Because we see a lot of people say they want to scale, I want to scale, and it's becoming a buzzword. But what are the things that business owners should really take note of before scaling, especially when you're trying to scale to a different country entirely that has different regulations, different perspective, and all of that? So what are the strategies that you deployed that helped your scaling process easy and smooth, so that, you know, we can also take note of that as well?
All right. So regarding scaling, there are various arms that you need to employ to get that to work smoothly. But one of them that is so important is learning from the market. Learning from the market. Because many times we like to be emotional about the products we sell. We like to be emotional about the business we do, right? You're like, if this doesn't work, then nothing else will work. It must work. I'll keep trying this. Your goal is to make money, not necessarily to make this product work. So whatever product or whatever line it is that is going to bring in that money for you, you should delve in there if that is your goal. And in selling to different African nations, I've learned that culture really drives sales, and regulations are really different. These are really different people. So in Africa, in this sense, Nigeria is really the giant. Nigeria drives the most sales. Our numbers are one of our greatest advantages. Nigeria drives a lot of sales. You would need to combine like 10 African countries to give you the volume that Nigeria gives to you. And Nigeria can easily give you 100 orders in a day. Right? But you need to combine several other African countries to give you even up to half of that volume in a day. So Nigeria has more people, more quality people. You must learn how the market works and learn how to play to the market. So you shouldn't be emotional about it. Whatever is working is what you should scale. You don't try to put in more money into what is not working. And then when you're scaling, there's also something very important that you should also scale on. And that is the system and the structure upon which this skill falls on. So you can't be generating 100 orders a day and have just 2 staff. So you need to scale your team as well.
How do you run your numbers? How do you get, because I'm hearing you do lots of orders in a day, right? How do you make that happen? Do you leverage the social media space? And if yes, what are some of the strategies you've put in place to make that happen?
All All right. So in this case, what happens is, just like I said earlier, you have to play to the market and listen to what the market is saying and scale like that. Because truly, for people who do product-based businesses, there are some products that are winners over some others. There are some products that will do better over some others. It happens everywhere. For Apple, iPhone is their hottest product. iPhone sells millions of units, more than iPads, more than Apple Watch, more than AirPods. Yeah, so that is their hottest product. And they dive all into it. Yeah, so for every business, there's a product that is the hottest, that does the most numbers. That is the product that you should pay attention to and drive more into it. You won't say, I like Tim Cook of Apple wouldn't say, I like iWatch, I like Apple Watches, so let's double down on Apple Watches. Let's give iPhone's budget to iWatch. Because no, you would have to listen to the market, because at the end of the day, it is your customers that are providing the funds that you use in running that business. So how to generate a lot of numbers in a short time is by leveraging on digital advertising. So social media advertising, Facebook advertising, Instagram, YouTube, search engine advertising, Google, and all the rest of them. So you have to maximize your use of advertising. So that is how you can get into the faces of so many people in a short time. Because the difference between a small business and a big business is that the big business gets into the eyes of so many more people than the small business does. If only 100 people see your product in a day, you can't get 1,000 sales. But if 1 million people see your products in a day, then you can get 1,000 sales. So it's a game of numbers. And how you can easily tap into the enormous resources of numbers is by leveraging quickly on advertising. Right? So that's what's going to grow your numbers quickly. That's what's going to grow your brand quickly. Yeah, so you must master. If you don't know how to do that, then you employ a professional who is going to put your business through that, and you generate such numbers in a short time.
Amazing. And we're going to come to sort of like a personal question now, because I know you run multiple businesses, and being a public life, I mean, like a public figure, being a thought leader, and all of that can be demanding as well. So how do you balance your ambition with your personal well-being as well? Do you have routines or principles that you follow to ensure that you don't burn out, or you don't run out of ideas, or you don't run out of energy to execute?
All right. So true. Sometimes, this whole thing can be so overwhelming, right? But you just have to keep at it, because where I'm coming from, I've learned that consistency over time is what establishes you. So being consistent at a particular thing and not jumping from one thing to the other is what establishes you. So you have to just keep at it. You have to just do it. And there is no other way of getting the results than to put in the work. So you must learn to prioritize and allocate time to different things. So I do that. Different tasks that I need to do every day have different times that I need to attend to them. And also you come to peace with the fact that you can't do everything. Even everything you set out to do on your to-do list
might not even be done.
Yes, you won't tick out all of them every day. You're not a robot. And how I declutter is that there are several things I do in my leisure. Like I mentioned earlier, I play a lot of video games. So yesterday I even
gym a lot.
Yeah, I go to the gym too. Yeah, so yesterday I even did that. I even at some point when my head was just getting full, I just turned on my PlayStation and started playing some games. So yeah, I do that, and you just need to learn that you are not a machine. Even machines need rest, and your head space needs to be free so that you can think about several other things. And then something else you need to do, because your time is limited. You don't have all the time in the world. So because your time is limited, you should learn to buy time. And how you buy time is by employing other hands, employing capable hands to fill into roles that you can take a step back from. So if there is something you do every day and you feel like it's getting redundant, you can get somebody else to fill up that system for you, and the system keeps going while you step out of it, so that you can see a bigger picture and channel all your time and energy into something else. And then at the end of the day, you share the profit with the person who is filling up that time for you in terms of salary. Yeah. Yeah. So you just need to, so don't try to do everything yourself. Don't be stingy and try to want to eat up all the money yourself, because in doing that, you're stealing from your time. So what your staff does for you is that they are exchanging their time for money, and you are exchanging your time for money as well. So you should learn to,
it's a win-win situation.
Yeah, it is. So you should learn to maximize that and deploy it very efficiently. So take yourself out of a couple of things and, you know,
get people's hands.
Exactly. Exactly.
I wanted to ask you on how, you know, people in this situation can trust people, because there's some people that, you know, they have a very beautiful CV, but at the end of the day, how do you trust that this person can be capable, that you can step back and things will not fall?
Okay.
So are there systems that you've put in place to ensure that even if you're not there, things are going to work?
Yes. Okay, yeah, very true. There is this delusion that business owners, entrepreneurs usually fall into. They feel like nobody else can do it like they do. So if there was a task that the owner of the business was handling by themselves, they usually fall into this delusion where they feel like nobody else can do it like them. They feel like they do it so perfectly. And there's usually a shock at the end of the day. When you get somebody to fill up that role, most times, in my experience, they've done it better than I did, than I was doing it. So because I'm just one person, and they all bring in fresh insights, they bring in new ideas, new perspectives that I never saw, I never thought was possible. I'm like, wow, it can be done like this. I couldn't have ever thought like this. So you bring them in, and how you can get to trust people, and you don't just trust someone you met today. You have to, trust is built over time, is earned over time. So if you already have someone or some set of people who are handling various tasks in your organization, and obviously you pay attention to them, you pay attention to their strengths, to their weaknesses, and you know who can do what and what can be done easily by who. So since you know all of that, with time you begin to extend this person's capability, this person's roles into bigger tasks, give
responsibility based on their capacity.
Exactly. And as they keep doing that, they keep on filling bigger shoes. And anyone who is not so effective in the goal that your organization is trying to achieve, that person would either remain at their role or be cut off, because their vision doesn't align with yours, where they are going doesn't align with yours. So you keep on pruning the organization like that, and you keep on entrusting people little by little, as much as they have shown that they have capacity to execute.
Amazing. We've had such an insightful conversation, and we're going to be wrapping it up here. Because of time. But I want you to talk about your legacy. What do you hope to leave behind? But I mean, not now. I'm talking about basic. Even now, you're asking what you're leaving now, and years to come, 100 years, 90 years, 500 years to come. 5 years, even next year, next month. You know, what are the things, both in business and in the lives of those people you've mentored, and then you close with your final words.
All right. The truth is, every industry is modeled by a set of people. Every industry is modeled by a set of beliefs and a set of pattern. So there are various industries, there are various walks of life, various endeavors that people engage in, and they all are modeled by a set of beliefs and a set of ideas. So if you watch every industry closely, you will see that the people in this industry behave in a certain way, in a particular way. So if you watch tech bros, for example, most of them, I mean, that belief and that culture around that trade, it affects everything in that way. It affects how they make their money, how they spend their money. A tech bro would most likely want to get a new gadget, most likely want to live solitary, most likely want to, spend their time and their life like that, right? And then if you go over to, say, the movie industry, there's a certain way they behave. And if you go over to other industries or other trades, even illicit means of getting money, there is a way they behave as well with their money. There's a culture. There's how they earn the money, and there's how they spend it. Some people would prefer to buy bling bling. Some people prefer to buy houses. And this whole culture is shaping by those who are at the top of the industry. So yeah, the set of beliefs that you want to be imbibed by any generation, it would easily be passed down to them when at the helm of affairs there's a certain kind of people doing a certain kind of thing. So the legacy that I would want to leave behind, and that I've been leaving behind, for people who look up to me, and for everybody so far in business, friends, and all that, is one of sincerity. It's one of we really want to show that whatever you can achieve can be achieved through legal means. Whatever you want to achieve can be, because there is a culture predominant in this part of the world, in Nigeria. There's so many illicit means of making money, and there are so many vices that are taking the center stage right now. And so how we can get to counter all of that is by we who are of a different breed, come up to that stage and take the center stage. So we're going to
shape
shape the culture. Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So what we want to promote, what we want to leave behind, is that things can really be done right, and things can really be done right from a small place, and things can really be done right from an African, by an African, and we can herald moves that will shape the world's culture. We really can. And I really believe in that.
With you as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much. Somto, any final words for us as we call it a day here today?
All right. The final words I would close with would be that you should truly believe in yourself, as cliche as it sounds. One of the highlights of this conversation was when I talked about the setback from business and how I was able to bounce back with that. Yeah, bounce back from that. Throwing more light on that, you really should believe in yourself and believe in what you do, and that what you do can really make sense at the end of the day. All right. It is how much you believe in yourself that you would get to portray on later on in life. All right. And final words as well. Everything we've said here, everything we've talked about, Voices with Victoria is an amazing show. So many insightful and resourceful people have come on the show to speak. All of what has been said here today, in previous times, even in future, all of that would really hold no water if you don't put them into practice. So everything said here should be put into practice. This was no joke. This was real, no lies here. So everything here works. It works. And so just put it into practice. Everybody who is working for are just people who have had the mind, who have had the guts and the courage to try it out. Yeah, so that is how well it works. That is how much it works. So put these things into work, and they are going to result into transformation in your life as well.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Somto, for being here. And thank you for watching. I do hope that you find the courage to bounce back. For those of you who have faced different setbacks and all, and I also do hope that you find the courage to try out things, to go out there, to listen to the market, and put yourself out there to make the very best that you can. And I'm rooting for you here on Voices with Victoria. Until next time, please do well to like, share, leave a comment, share, and subscribe.
Turn on the notification bell.
Yes, and please follow our guest at
Somto
Somto Anekwe, and of course Voices with Victoria show on all social media platforms. Bye for now.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.